uploading videos talking about this house arrest and about other things. Remember to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and share this video for family and friends. Hope you have a good time watching my dad's videos. Bye!
Hi guys, what an amazing time we're living in. And today we've had a roundtable chat hosted very kindly by Denise Boland from the States and Caleb T. Johnson, who, by the way, has just had a new song that's been released, and you'll see the link below. Well done, Caleb, but thank you for both for hosting this. And today round the table, we had Kingcharlie Prince, an amazing man, an amazing gentleman who is incredibly well read and understands so much about what's going on, and a very, very well-known US rapper who has had numerous hits, but an amazing man. And also David Nino Rodriguez, the world-famous boxer from the United States, or from Mexico and the United States, and a lovely, lovely gentleman, a real gentleman, and a good friend. And also today we're joined for the first time by Thomas. And Thomas is a young man that has a channel on YouTube called TRUreporting. And he has a huge following, around 200,000, and should be an awful lot more, but incredibly well read, understands a lot what's going on, has some very good contacts. So that today you get the opportunity to listen to us share our experiences together and try and piece together the puzzle that's going on right now in our lives. Enjoy. Correct.
Absolutely, Denise. Absolutely.
What up, David?
What's up, Thomas? What's up?
Hi, David.
Hey, David.
Who else here?
Yeah.
It's all here.
How many people are on?
6.
6 of us.
Oh, wow. Okay. Charlie on?
Yep. Both
Hey,
Charlie.
Charlie. How are you?
All good. Well, we're both.
Hey, what's
I'm
up, bro?
good. And then we got Kingcharlie Prince.
Yeah, we got the Prince, everybody. All right, cool. The big round table today.
Yeah.
Big round table. So, I mean, there's so much to talk about. There's so many topics we could touch on. You guys, what do you want to discuss? I mean, I'm excited about the arrest of Ghislaine Maxwell, and I'm excited that she's ready to sing, that she's giving up names.
The funny thing about that is you know, it's kind of funny how this is all coming full circle after I came out with that pedo video that went viral, and now people are seeing like it's legit. So I'm happy about that. Like, there's confirmation for me in a lot of this. But I told everybody in one of my videos I just did a couple days ago that once she gets arrested, expect a false flag, right? So expect, because when you're taking down powerful men that are in the deep state and controlling the system, there's going to be false flags. So right when I said that, the next day, and I'm not saying he's deep state, I'm kind of, the jury is out, but Kanye West announces his presidential run. And that threw me for a loop, because I'm like, man, the timing is just too perfect. And it's on 4th of July. It doesn't make sense, but then it does make, I know he's being strategically moved, but I don't know. At first I thought it was a deep state, but now I'm thinking it's for Trump. And the jury's still out on that. I'd like to get everyone's opinion, because I only believe time will tell in this situation, because I got to listen to his rhetoric. I got to start seeing what kind of drums he's beating. If he's, I mean, this to me is very, I don't know. I feel it's a very shifty move. You know, for this whole time, he could have been in a deep state mole, or he really is on Trump's team and they're going to pull the black vote away from Biden. So I'm confused on this. The jury's out with me on this.
Democrats on Instagram are posting, don't vote for Kanye. He's going to split the vote. Don't vote for Kanye. So I'm really thinking that was the plan all along, right?
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like a distraction.
Yeah. The timing is.
Because when you say Kanye West, it's like people gonna be like, huh?
Yeah.
So everybody's like, something ain't right. So this gives them time to plan, keep you distracted. They plan, and because you focus on one thing, you know what I'm saying? That's what they do. They throw something out there, and you get caught like a fish, and you stay connected to it while they doing something else over here. That's the way I see it.
That's what I said. The false flag.
Yeah.
That would be a false flag, but I just don't. I'm trying to think: is he a deep state move, or is he Trump's move? I can't put it. I can't put that part together. Like honestly.
There's so much stuff. There's so much stuff out there about him and MK Ultra. Obviously, he's gone through that. You know, I think pictures have surfaced recently, as of maybe 2 days ago, as the earliest I saw it, where he was a child. He looked like he was around 8, in China. We all know that there's always been a war between us and China, spies, and who knows who the Kardashians are. I mean, they have direct ties to to witchcraft. They were supposedly in a Wiccan and all kinds of stuff. That family is extremely powerful for some reason that we probably are not aware of, or if they're high priestess or anything like that. But no one comes into an array of money as they do without doing something for the darkness. I'm sure of that.
So what do you think, Thomas? What's your thoughts on? What's your instincts tell you?
My instincts are just think that this is it could be for Trump. I don't think necessarily Trump needs any help. I think this is going to be a complete landslide on all sides. The only thing they can do is mail-in balloting, and other than that, I mean, I don't think, and I think every part of his administration, anybody, the attorney generals, former attorney generals, they all know what's to come. It's all. I think it's already been planned out.
True. You got back up a little bit off the mic a little.
My bad.
Bit.
Yeah. So I think, like I was saying, that it's going to be. I think that it's all. It's just optics at this point. I don't know what it is. I mean, Kanye has the money to run. He'll never win. No one. You could throw anyone in there, and none of them will win at this point because it's in the way that I see things. It's already written. All of this is written already, and that might seem insane, but the way that everything is the way that everything's building, it's all. I feel like intuitively we all know what's going to happen. I just think that a lot of us are a little shaky on really saying what's going to happen. And it's very good.
I feel, and I don't know if you all agree with me, and Charlie, I'd like to know everyone's opinion on this, I feel we are headed towards a civil war now, just depending on the magnitude of it. Is it going to be pockets of violence in different parts of the cities of unrest, or is it going to be a massive civil war to where states are breaking off from the union? But I do feel it's in the air. I do feel the tension's there. We are on our way. I think that nobody can deny this. I mean, we are already on lockdown, wearing masks. Businesses are closing. The middle class is being hit. And the race wars are picking up. So the racial tension is picking up with, the Black Panthers, BLM, and people are beating the war drums. I'm wondering if Kanye West, we'll see who he's working for. If he starts beating the war drums with the blacks and saying, make it Black America, blah, 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 we're going to know right away that's deep state. But what do you guys think? I mean, I feel like we are headed towards a civil war. I just don't know what the magnitude of it is going to be.
I don't think you're heading towards a civil war as such. From the information that I get from behind the scenes, I've been told 100% that if Trump wants to get into power in 2020, he'll get into power. I've been told that. And it'll be his decision whether if he's completed the job or not. But my gut feeling is he'll go for it. He'd love another 4 years. And him and Putin working together for the next 4 years will be so much fun. Because they'll destroy the deep state. They won't just get rid of it, they'll destroy it. When it comes to the violence, the civil war, what Trump is doing is letting these battles go on very, very clearly so he can point out it's happening in democratic-run states. So people can see. If you tell people...
He's letting them incriminate themselves. He's letting them incriminate themselves.
He's letting them hang themselves. He's just feeding them rope. That's it. And he'll let them hang themselves and do it. When people wake up to the fact that every life matters. Forget Black Lives Matter. Every life matters. If you wake up to the fact that the people that funded Black Lives Matters were white,
Right.
George Soros and the Clinton Foundation, and the money that's raised by it goes to Biden. I can't remember Biden being black. You know it's a load of bollocks. It's complete and utter bollocks. You know, if
people are getting killed. You got innocent people getting killed over this.
This happens in a war. We're in the Third World War. This happens in war. This is casualties of war, and we're in a seriously dangerous war right now, where the alliance are taking out the deep state, and the deep state are not going to give up easily. I guarantee.
Well, so then you don't think that they're gonna push forward at the election time and make a rush, like make a final push and make this?
It's been so well planned. It's been so well planned. They've been planning this with there's over 8,000 people involved, and I would say a huge part of them have been planning this for best part of 10 years, maybe more.
What countries are involved, Charlie, in the alliance?
The main 4 countries involved. There's now 5 because Saudi Arabia is sort of now providing certain for extra cover, if you like. But your main countries are America, Russia, India, and China. And when I say China, I'll make it very, very clear. It's not the Communist Party. It's Chairman Xi Jinping, who is now the leader of the new Republican Party of China, which hardly anybody even knows because the mainstream media haven't even mentioned it. You have to listen to Steve Bannon and look at what he's got to say about it on China and on what's happening there right now. They're removing the old Communist Party. I'm very, very close friends with the family that run China. I've known them for 15, 20 years. I know the family inside out, and they're very excited to get rid of the Communist Party because the people who run it are basically the Himalayan descent.
So you're saying that basically Trump is controlling everything right now. He's already in power, basically.
He's already in power.
It's almost like if he wants to be king or not, type of thing. Like,
very much. He's even in control of England right now and Europe.
Wow.
He has total control of America, Europe, and the UK. Total control.
And I just want to reiterate, that's why he walked in front of the Queen that time, because that was his way of letting us know.
Wow.
He no longer had power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Trump knows business.
Sorry?
Trump is a businessman. So
he's a clever man.
Mm-hmm. Before he was a president, he was a businessman.
Yeah.
Never wanted to have anything to do with the cabal. I'm sure he had opportunities to join forces with them back in the day. And he stood clear of them because they're against America, and he loves America. And that's what's so great about him.
Well, I had a lovely interview the other day with a former, I can only say a part of the conversation, but he was a former CIA pilot back in the 70s. And he quit after 3 years when he realized he was transporting heroin and hashish every week from the Far East to America as a pilot. But I was the first person he talked openly, and the Official Secrets Act was removed from him in 1999. So over 20 years ago, and he still hasn't been able to talk about it. He talked about it to me. I haven't been able to publish it because it's got a lot of detail in it until he gets consent from the White House. But he's now become an advisor.
Wow. I mean, this is like
an explosive one.
Well, what you just said right now, I mean, yeah, I mean, I have no doubt your information or your sources are true. I just think like, wow, that's so basically Trump, everything's in Trump's hands right now. And it's just what he wants to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
He's totally in
control.
He's
letting it play out to incriminate these people. Like the governors, mayors, the people that are enforcing these laws, these unconstitutional laws, they're going down then.
They're going down, all of them. All of them are going down, and not just in America and Europe too.
I said that on my video today, but I still thought a civil war was coming. But you're saying no civil war. He's just letting them incriminate themselves.
There's no civil war coming. He's going to expose them for what they are. Because if he told the Democrats what they were, the people that voted for them would never accept it. So he's having to show them how dirty they really are and what lengths they'll let them go to. And yes, there will be sadly loss of life. There will be. That's very, very sad.
So let me ask you this. The reason he is in power right now is because he took down England, right? And Europe, right? Where he, I mean, so what is he? What's his role right now? Like, what is the president of the United States /
his job from day one, which I did my videos from day one, saying that everything around this was a smokescreen to break down the world's economy. That was America. To break the power of the Federal Reserve, which was a private boys' club printing money and had no gold backing at all. And then to break the Nazi states of Europe, as they called it. And it was important to get the UK out of the European Union before they started, so it didn't drag the UK down, because they wanted the UK as an ally, whereas they don't have any real allies in Europe at the moment right now. So they had to break them, and we're now coming to the end of phase 1. Phase 2 will be watching the banks go bankrupt and a lot of these big companies collapse. To get back to reality, because they've all been controlled. All these big companies have been controlled by the cabal, the deep state. They've all been in bed together. And the ones that will be broken down will be the bad ones, 100%. And the ones that are good, they'll survive.
I was told that phase 2 also would be the takedown of the big names.
Yeah.
So it's not just the banks, but also like the celebrities and Ghislaine Maxwell is probably, I guess, going to be a key contributor to this. I mean, they already know who it is.
Yeah.
But what I'm guessing is, so do you have any idea when this will take place and when it will be done by election time or go further past it?
That I don't know. I know that Ghislaine will be given because of what she's been involved with. It carries the death penalty, and she'll be told that if she cooperates with Trump, she'll get a life sentence. Because she is involved at the highest level, but she's an incredibly valuable piece.
I heard the Democrats was behind a lot of wicked schemes.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that Maxwell was actually the handler of Jeffrey Epstein. Like, she was actually more involved than he was.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
She was. Yeah, she was. There's no nice way of putting it. It's polite. She's not a good person. Anyone. I don't care who you are. Anyone who abuses a child doesn't deserve anything in life. It doesn't matter who you are.
I agree, 100%. Yeah, I mean, there's no sicker mentality. In fact, it's demonic. I think it's possession. There's no other way to see this, because nobody in their right mind would hurt a child. Or, with me, it's about animals, elderly, women, and children. You just don't hurt the weak.
No, you don't.
And for anybody to prey on children is
sick.
It's very sick. And they're trying to normalize the pedophilia all over the internet now.
I know.
And it's really been crazy, because I've been seeing videos of different YouTube sensations, or whatever you want to call them, where they're actually like flirting with kids and feeding them penis cookies. And I mean, it's so disturbing. It's just sickening that it's out there now. They're fighting to stay alive. I mean, they're fighting to stay relevant, and the way they're doing that is pushing this in our face.
Yeah. But I watched today the Ricky Gervais hosting of the awards over in America, and when you listen to it now, with what we know now, he probably knew a lot more than we thought he knew when he was at the award ceremony.
Yeah. Oh, he was definitely outing them.
Exactly right.
This is my last show. I don't care.
Exactly.
Yeah, he knew what was going down.
He knew what was going down.
He knew they were all going to get fucked. That's crazy. Wow.
That was the last award show, if you think about it.
It was the last one. But I watched it again today just to remind myself of what he was saying. I remember when he said it, I thought it was absolutely on point. But now it's even more on point.
Tom Hanks' face was priceless.
I was watching a video, and I'm trying to still understand what they mean when they say Hillary Clinton likes to carry babies.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton what?
It said Hillary Clinton likes carrying babies.
Well, yeah, she eats them.
Well, yeah.
That's what it. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
she
a,
drinks.
Prince.
She eats it. Adrenochrome. Yeah.
We got to tell him about Frazzle Drip. He doesn't know. Yeah, she's complete evil.
Yeah, she's as bad as you can even ever imagine.
Yeah, because first they said hot sauce, and then they said, oh, and she likes to carry babies, and then they kept repeating it, babies. She likes to carry babies. She likes to carry. And I'm trying to figure out what they mean by that.
Oh man, you don't know?
I didn't know.
Yeah, no. There's a
go easy with it.
Really, yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Gently.
Oh, I mean, I was just saying, yeah, just go easy. I mean, they're these people, the elite, they don't see things as we see them. They don't worship, love. They worship evil because they are selfish, deprived entities. They're not at this point. I don't know if they ever were, if they are still human beings at this point, but I believe that they have 100% sold their soul to some off-world, and what I mean by that is some deity, a false god that they worship, Baal, Moloch, whatever you want to call it. That if you look into old readings of Moloch, is basically a deity, a false god of pure evil that was actually fed children for sacrifice to praise Moloch. This is all over you can look this up now, King Charles. You can look at this now. It's all over the internet still. It's more prevalent now, that even with censorship, because nothing can hide what they've done or what they worship, and the symbolism that they wear, their brooches, their necklaces, their paintings in their $1 million homes, exposes everything in what they talk and what they actually take comfort in doing, and what they find to actually be rewarding. But in the end of it all, as they are doing awful, horrible things to children, awful, horrible things to many other people. We can think of Haiti. We can think of trafficking from Mexico and Canada and from all over the world. Think of bathhouses. I mean, they do this because they feel as though they're getting rewarded, and they do. They get rewarded with wealth. They get rewarded with power. They get rewarded with sex. And then in return, they forfeit their souls. But they're so entitled, and they're so sick in the mind, they even have a mind at this point, that they don't care. And so they're completely just taken, which happens. You can break it down and say you've heard of, demonic possession. Catholic Church always talks about it. There's television shows and movies about it. I mean, it's depicting something that's real, that if you forfeiture your well-being, your being in return for wealth, sex, and power, well, there's repercussions to that, and that's what they've done. And it's sick, it's shocking, and it's going to put a lot of people in the hospital when they figure this out.
Yeah, I think the people that find this, a lot of people don't believe this. No, a lot of people don't believe this is happening. They're still in denial. But once they learn that not only this is happening, but it's been happening for thousands of years, probably since the beginning of humanity, it's going to make people very sick. I think when we face the crimes against humanity, when we finally face up to it, it's going to knock people off their feet, and they're going to feel sick because they're going to realize that this whole time evil has been running this world. And I think everything Thomas said right now is right on.
This is why the second wave of COVID-19 is going to be faked, to cover up the amount of deaths through heart attacks and suicides when the people find out what's actually gone on.
Oh,
the president said so. Remember, he said there's going to be a high rate of suicides, and everyone's like, what are you talking about? And then
you're absolutely right.
Once we get in, what are we, February, March, April, May, June, we're 4.5 months into being isolated. I mean, I'm not necessarily isolated, but I haven't seen my parents. My parents don't believe, they truly believe in the pandemic. They truly believe that their lives are at risk. And, as they're in their 70s, and then I tell them, I said, if you want to take the proper precautions and stay at home and and do that, then that's up to you. But you're going to miss out. This is going to carry on this will carry on through Christmas. I don't think that we'll see anybody on Thanksgiving or Christmas, and probably into the earlier part of next year because of the high flu rate that comes back that they've already deemed is, once the WHO and CDC, they all talk about how they're grouping everything together, where it's either the flu, it's pneumonia, or CV. They lump it all together with the deaths, and then there's these fakes and false positives. And I mean, I have friends that are pharmacists. I have friends who are doctors in the medical field, and that's all that they see. They see people sick, but they're not seeing anyone dying from this. They're seeing people getting sick, and it may not even be CV. It could be something, just a bad cold. I mean, colds go around.
The hospitals are getting paid a lot of money for this. When they're diagnosing people and they're putting it on their death certificate, they're getting paid for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
How could you live with yourself by doing that?
They're putting them on ventilators, which is a death sentence, because you're going to find out most of them died on a ventilator. They really should have never been put on a ventilator. They didn't give them the BPAP, so that's a death sentence, And if they would just listen to the president and get the hydroxychloroquine, they'd probably get over it in a few days,
Yep, 100%. They've found that out in Italy because they did 15 autopsies and the people who died where they were told not to. But they said if you put COVID-19 on the death certificate, you don't need to do an autopsy. But they decided to do it. Not one of them had died from a virus. They'd all died from a thrombosis. All of them.
They'd all die from what?
Thrombosis. What's that? It's basically a reaction in your body, an explosion in your body, which if you're put onto a ventilator, that will cause a thrombosis. If they've diagnosed you with a virus that you haven't got, and they put you on a ventilator, you'll get a thrombosis.
Wow.
Yeah, which will kill you.
Basically, they were murdering them.
So they're basically murdering them, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the nurses
I feel
are
like,
coming out with videos about it.
So I feel honestly like settled in a way, like after what Charles just said about, because I heard this before. I'm not going to lie to you. My source that I know in Hollywood, Denise, you know who that person is, told me that the game is basically won.
Yeah.
And Trump is just securing everything, and all this is playing out the way it should.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but I see the tension rising. I see the globalists fighting back. The Black Panthers. They're trying to make this race division as legit as possible, and they're inciting riots and looting, which they were able to accomplish. And I'm thinking that there's going to be more. So I'm thinking, of course, that's going to lead to a civil war. I just don't know what the magnitude is going to be. But if you're saying Trump is controlling all of this now,
he's 100% controlling it all. And what you're seeing right now is, I don't know if you've ever wrung a chicken's neck. When you wring a chicken's neck, they would still run about for 2 or 3 minutes. But they're dead. It's just their nervous system. That's what the Democrats are doing right now in the deep state. The neck has been wrung.
I like that analogy.
I also call it the dead cat roll.
That's right. That's what it is.
Yeah, the dead cat roll. They're on their 9th life.
That's it.
And one time I hit a cat with a car by accident, and that sucker ran off, man. And he took off for like 5 blocks, and then he died. I was like, shit. And he was going crazy. So I was like, yeah, this son of a bitch doesn't want to die. And I almost thought I had to put it out of his misery or something, but it finally croaked. And I was like, damn, that sucker had some life in him. And I mean, I just always thought the dead cat roll. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I feel the globalists are doing now. It's the dead cat roll. Like,
yeah, it is.
It's the last life.
But
go ahead, Charles.
Go on, please.
I was going to say that I agree with Charles. What you say. That's what I was saying at the beginning.
I'm sorry,
That's what I was saying at the beginning of the
you.
interview. When I was saying that at the beginning of the interview, that it's all written.
Yeah, it is.
There's some form of this, and I don't know if you guys want to get into this. I mean, because it does sound a little out there to people, and to me it seems like I believe in like the esoteric side of a lot of stuff, of where we're seeing that this is that QAnon says that this is biblical and that this is all formulated, and I kind of want your take on that, Charles, if you know anything. Like that's where I'm taking my show. Okay. That when I do it, I'm getting away. Like, I'll do a podcast Tuesday and Thursday of just the news, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are absolutely like it's like spiritual. Like I want to keep everything positive, but I also want to I'm pushing people in the way of thinking more esoterically about why all this is happening and why are we here to witness all this. That's what I'm into.
If we go back to the very beginning of this, Thomas, you and I knew this was going to be the Great Awakening.
Yes.
We knew that this was going to be the global financial reset. We just didn't know how it was going to play out. We just need to remind ourselves that the Great Awakening is, it's the revelation, it's spiritual. And there's plenty of spiritual people out there that I've spoken to, I'm sure you have too, that are saying exactly the same thing. And I've heard it from 4 or 5 in the last week. Spiritual people on different levels. And I didn't even know there was all these different levels. I was talking to somebody on the 9th level the other day, whatever the 9th level is. And they're all saying exactly the same thing.
That positivity's coming?
Oh, completely. We're going into a far better place.
Correct.
Look, I'm not saying that life is like a battery. You've got positive and negative, but negative took control of our lives. Now,
duality.
Positive is wrestling it back, but when you put a light bulb just connect to positive, nothing happens. You need to connect to both sides, but you need the switch on the positive side, not the negative side. You need control on the positive side. And that's what we're getting back. There'll still be negative in the world. There'll still be evil people in the world. We can't get rid of them all. They'll still be there and we'll still be tested every day. Mm-hmm. But the positive will take back control.
And we will feel this. Like it should be palpable enough to notice a shift in the way that we think and feel because of everything that they've done to us. Everything, because we're born, once we're brought into this realm, brought onto this planet, the first thing that happens to us is what? The baby gets spanked. The baby gets hit with vax. And then it's immediate traumatic, like things are taking place. Like the first minutes of a person's life, it's all traumatic. And then basically we're fed fear. And fear is not real. Fear is taught. And and that's the thing, that's the biggest hoax of it all, is that they push is fear. But also, what do we fear the most? We fear the unknown. We fear death. And I think that is the thing. If all of us did not fear death, I think that we would rise in consciousness because we would not fear the inevitable. And I think that death should not be feared, which is very hard to understand. I mean, I still do fear it. I'm trying to get away from that. But I feel that needs to come out. I think that they know. I think that they know what happens. The people that were brought up in mystery schools and stuff, I think that they're taught that. And I believe that the cabal, the evilness also knows, and they don't want to tell us, and they keep us from understanding it so that we do live in fear. And I'll leave you with this, and I want to know your take on this, that they feed off of that in some way, shape, or form.
100%.
What I see right now, the young generation ain't afraid of anything. The young generation is ready to fight.
I've noticed that as well.
It's the older people that don't want to go through all of this, but the young generation today, they don't even care no more.
I think that they're definitely a new breed. I'm not trying to be weird about that. I think that there's something that the way that things are, and I have a good friend of mine, and I'm assuming you're going to post this online, Denise? Okay, so I would say that you should follow, anybody out there should follow at JCParker369 on Twitter. And me and him, he's my best friend. I've known him since we were 3. He red-pilled me, and we talk just about every day about this. We've kind of gotten away from it because it's almost became stagnant until what happened with Ghislaine Maxwell. Everything was very stagnant. Everybody was bottomed out, depleted, tired, completely filled with anxiety, depression. And I think that once all this pans out, that we're going to feel a whole lot different. I think, Charles, you agree with that, right?
1,000,000%. Absolutely. What you said earlier was, you touched on a nerve with me, because I lost my fear of death 11 years ago when I lost my firstborn son, because my theory is that if somebody wanted to kill me, or if for any reason, then I'd just go and be with my son. It was no big deal. And once I lost my fear of death, it changed my whole perception on life. And I've never been as calm and peaceful in my life as I am right now. I'm just totally relaxed, totally happy.
I'm envious of that. Not of what happened to you, but I'm envious of the fact that your mindset is there.
Yeah.
That's clarity. That's a beautiful thing to have. That's what I'm searching for. And it's difficult.
Well, I can attest to that as well, because I lost my fear of death because I died twice in 2011.
That's right. You said that was amazing. You go through that again, because that's a lovely story.
Yeah, I mean, I won my first, it was my 5th championship, and I went out partying. I was just juggling so many extremes, and I went out partying and I overdosed on drugs the first time in February, and that was it, man. They did CPR on me, and there's 9 hours of my life I can't account for, but I get all secondhand information that, you know, the bouncers took me out of the club, they dropped me off in the alley, and they just didn't want the liability in the club, but they dropped me off to die in the alley. And an RN that was off duty was there at the club, and she saved my life. She's the one that got my friends to get me into a truck, and they sped me to the hospital, and they did the defibrillator on me, the CPR, and I was gone and going into cardiac arrest. And I just remember that I didn't have a stress in the world. I was very much at peace before I went. And when it happened again in December, when I got my throat knife slit open, same thing. I mean, who goes through this twice in a year? I mean, that's how crazy my shit was. My life was just boxing, drinking, womanizing, partying. I mean, it was insanity. I don't miss that life at all. But those 2 awakenings for me, that's why I did the pedophile video, because I'm not scared. I'm just not, I went through it, man. Like, once you take a knife to the neck, it's such an intimate death. I'd rather have been shot. Yeah. Because at least a bullet is, you know, at a distance, it's not as intimate. Does that make sense? Yeah. The knife to the throat was very intimate. And to me, same thing. I was in a coma, woke up out of it. And I had to really look at my life and think to myself, it was God transforming me. And when in the video I did with the pedophile stuff, I said, we are going into the Great Awakening. I was just confused. I know we're going to a better place. I know humanity is going that direction, but I was confused. Which you cleared up for me, Charles, was I thought that, you know, hey, I didn't know the magnitude of what the Civil War would be. I think we are in a soft Civil War already. I mean, I think there's pockets of violence breaking out here and there, but you're right. Trump is trying to incriminate these people. I get it. But you're saying it's the cat's in the bag. I mean, it's a wrap. So that puts me at ease. So confident. Okay, so I'm a lot more at ease for you telling me that. I really thought we were headed towards a civil war, but I still believed we were going to win and come out of it victorious and still go into the, you know, still shed all the darkness. You're not
going to win. You've already won. You've passed the winning post.
Well, thank you, man. That makes me feel a million times better.
But there's a bit of a mess left behind. So
yeah.
It's a bit like a boxer. You've knocked out, getting up and throwing haymakers.
Yeah.
All the fireworks in the street the day after the 4th of July. You see the mess?
Exactly.
In the streets from the, yep.
The way I see it, death is not to be afraid of. It's the torture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to go through torture.
No.
You'd rather just be dead. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what's funny? Is that your mind shuts off. Because when I got knifed in the throat, my blood was spilling out. When I did all the drugs and I overdosed, my mind just shut off. It was like a light switch. It's like no more pain and just shut me off.
Wow.
So I think that's your body's defense mechanism of just turning the lights out. And that, at least I'm speaking through my experience, that when it happened, it wasn't like I was like, no, you know, I was just out, like boom, like lights out, you know, it's like no more pain for you.
That's what made you more into boxing, because what they throw at you, it ain't gonna bother you, because you done been through the hardest pain, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest, the boxing ring is a hell of a lot more painful than both of those deaths put together, because you're taking punishment, and it's like the punches hurt because you're not there to die. You're there to survive and win. But when your body knows it's a life-altering wound, or your body's getting ready to shut down, it just shuts down. It's like it doesn't want you to go through the panic and pain. And I remember how calm I felt. I remember I felt so calm, like someone put a warm blanket over me, and I felt God. I felt God's grace upon me, and I swear to you about that. It was something that was very peaceful. And I knew I was going to make a transition, and I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared at all. When you're going through it, you're not scared. You feel the presence of your creator. It's the craziest thing.
You're talking about the terror, Kingcharlie. You were talking about the terror. When people threaten you in life, they feed off fear. They love to make you scared. And if you're not scared, I had somebody come up to me with a knife in Miami a few years ago. We were in South Beach, tried to rob me. And he suddenly realized I wasn't scared because I just went straight for him, and he absolutely shit himself. He wasn't expecting it because I didn't have a knife. But I went after him and chased him down, got him, and took the knife off him, and taught him what a knife was really for. But they thrive off fear. People who, they try and make you scared. I know some really tough people in the world. I mean, seriously hard people. They don't threaten you. Suddenly you get whacked. You don't get told.
Yeah.
It's the bullies that threaten you.
Okay. Yeah.
Charles, speaking on death and everything like that, what do you think about, do we recycle back here?
I don't know. That I don't know.
I hope not.
That's what I've been saying on the show. I'm just like, the whole purpose is, I'm not necessarily worried about the surroundings of me. I'm worried about the afterlife. Like, I'm worried about, like, I don't want to come back. Like, I want to make this the last trip.
Yeah.
This is the last cycle of my soul. And, like, I want to go on to something higher density. I want to go on to something that's more, I don't know, something where I belong at, and Thomas, where I belong.
Thomas, you know what's funny? You know that, Thomas, I have something I can interject real quick. Mm-hmm. I talk to a lot of people at the Church of Scientology, right? I am not a Scientologist.
Yeah.
But their whole belief system with Dianetics.
Yeah.
And they have Buddhists that go visit them at the Church of Scientology. And I was there at the Celebrity Center in Hollywood. And I talked to the highest people up there. And basically the point of Dianetics and all that is to break the emotional attachment to the thought. So they try to go back, they try to regress you back to your childhood to see where these emotional fingerprints are of thought that's connected to the emotion, and they erase those because they do believe, or they say that, okay, I'm just going to tell you what I have understood is that there's a grid pattern put here by other dimensional beings that trapped our soul here in a prison planet, and we're always recycled. We just keep coming back.
Archons.
And the way what's that?
Archons.
Right.
That what they're
so
called?
the way they identify us is by our fingerprint of emotion. And then when we go towards the light, when we die, and it's like a tractor beam, right? We see our loved ones, this and that. That's when they take you, they give you amnesia, and they send you back here on Earth.
The Buddhists believe this?
Learned that, what's that?
The Buddhists believe this? No,
this is what I was learned in Scientology.
Okay.
With some very high people up there. And when I explained to them that I also knew, they're like, how did you know about this? So, well, you're a Scientologist then. I was like, I don't subscribe to any theory. It's a theory. It's a theory. I don't know. How am I supposed to know? But
sure.
Buddhists also believe in ascension, right? So I heard the Buddhists were going to the Church of Scientology to learn their ways and collaborate with each other to break the karmic wheel, to break the karma, because they want to learn how to get out of here. They don't want to be trapped here anymore. So I found that very interesting. I still believe it's just, is it possible? Yeah, it scares the shit out of me, to be honest with you. I don't want to know that I'm coming back here. I don't want to come back here. I want to move on. I'm done with this test. Life is fucking hard.
I mean, it's like water evaporating from the ocean. It goes up in the clouds and come back down.
Yeah.
It's recycled. It comes back.
I think you're coming back, David.
I hope not. No, I don't want to. I think maybe if you're aware of it, you won't come back. Maybe. if you're aware of it and you don't fall for the trickery, maybe you don't have to come back. I don't know. I mean, I guess we're not.
A friend of mine, back in 2014, got very sick and ended up, his organs started shutting down. He was in the hospital. His organs started shutting down. And he said that he came up out of his body and he could see his body on the hospital bed. And he said he started traveling up through another dimension. And he said he described angels, tall angels, like 15 feet tall, that met him and brought him towards this light. He described the whole thing. He said he saw Jesus, and they had a conversation that he was a pastor at the time, a youth pastor, and he used to go out to the missions, and he used to have all these healing services. People get healed. And he had this conversation with Jesus, and Jesus said, "It's not your time. There's so many more people that I want to use you to heal. To keep going out to the mission fields." And he came back, and he said he was so mad that he came back. Because he said when he was with the Lord, he said he didn't want to come back. He just wanted to stay with him because the love emanated from him. There was so much love that he never experienced his entire life, and he wanted to stay. But he did come back. They revived him because now we have the technology where you can bring somebody back. And when he came back into his body, there was nothing wrong with his body. That the head of the hospital even came down and said, "This is the first I've ever seen in my entire career at this hospital, that there was nothing wrong with him." And then he lasted a few more years. He kept, with the ministry and healing, and he passed away last year. So, but he told his story to everyone, what he saw. So I believe heaven is real.
The spiritual side.
You know what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go on, Charles. Go on.
No, what I really want to talk about. This cloning thing. Because this cloning thing is something real serious.
Very real.
Yeah.
Clonate.
Yeah, that's what black pilled me. Like, so you have red pill where you become awake. You you take the blue pill, you stay asleep. You take the red pill, but in that that intermediate spot between those two before reaching the red pill, you take a black. You hit depression because you're like, the world I knew, the world that I was completely asleep in, lulled to sleep in, is completely fabricated. It's all manufactured. And then
you think the black pill comes before the red pill, or does the black pill come after the red pill?
Black comes before. I think the black pill comes before the red. But I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. It might be different for everybody.
Yeah.
But all I know is that I hit a depression for like 2 weeks because of the cloning. Because people are like, Donald Trump's a clone. All these people are clones, and I was just like, I don't even know what to believe. I was like completely lost. Now I know that's not the case.
Same here. I'm like, I don't know what's going on now, because like they saying Obama was cloned and a whole bunch of people. So it's like it puts us in a standstill,
Mm-hmm.
It'll make you feel sick. I know it did that to me.
So do they have souls?
I don't know. I don't know much about it. All I know is that was the black pill for me. That floored me, and I didn't know what to believe. And then I just kind of just went with my gut for something just kind of comes over me sometimes, and it's like this feels right. This is right, and then I'll just kind of go with that. But yeah, the whole cloning situation. I mean, it's a real thing. It's 100% real. They make it sound like it's like futuristic. It's not. It's been here for 10, probably 50 years. I don't even know. Maybe the Nazis were doing it. I don't know. It's been here for a long time. They were so advanced. Who knows?
So the cloning, are they able to, because I've heard about this. I heard about Clonate in Canada and all that. But do they grow people like instantly? Or are they just, like how do they grow someone who's a clone? Is it like.
Well, we had it in England where we had a sheep called Dolly, where they cloned it, and it was the identical DNA and everything. It was very, very strange, but on the basis they can do it with a sheep, they can probably do it with a human being. From the information that I'd had, they have got a number of clones out there. But I'll be honest, what I've done is, and I think that what Thomas touched on it just now, as long as your moral compass is right, you just have to look inside yourself. Stop looking outside for truth. You look inside. You listen to what's out there, and you put it inside yourself and see how you feel inside, and challenge yourself as to what's true and what's not true. And I think a lot of us have been sort of so controlled by the media, we don't sort of look at things and try and work out what's true and what's not. We just depend on somebody else to do the hard work for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you get a feeling inside that it's either right or wrong. Like I saw the Hillary Clinton the other day, looks nothing like her. I'll be honest with you, Tom Hanks at the award ceremony doesn't even look anything like him.
Mm.
And you just go,
if we're noticing it, you know there's something to it. Like it's not conspiracy. You're looking at something and you're like, that doesn't look right. Something's not adding up. So something up here, your cognitive thought is telling you that something doesn't look right. This is off. But the whole cloning thing, you're talking about Dolly, and they did that in England or in the UK. And when they did that, anything the mainstream media does, because it's been Mockingbird for however long television's been around, it's all just propaganda. So for them to show us that, to be like, hey, we cloned a sheep, everyone's like, what? Oh my God, that's so crazy. But for them to show that to us as plebs, I think that's how it's pronounced, plebs, slaves, we're just the bottom of the totem pole, the bottom rung. For them to show us that is their advancements was taking place so much longer before that, prior to that. And now they're just now showing us, hey, look, we're making electric cars. Oh, okay, sure. Like, how long have you had this technology? I mean, even that technology is so basic anyway. Like, how long have you had this? And now we're going to probably go in like TR3Bs and all this kind of stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, talking about UFOs. But that's the kind of stuff I want to bring up furthermore into the show. But my audience just doesn't. They don't jive with it.
They don't expand that way, huh?
No, not at all. And
Maybe
I think that's the way we're going.
A different show. Keep this show, but do a separate show.
Yeah, I don't know.
Start with a new audience on a different show.
I kind of want to just do something different altogether, in all honesty. But I'm just going to have to keep it because it's my livelihood. But
yeah, and not only that, Thomas, but we are hitting the elections, and it's getting ready to get crazy.
Yeah, it's about to really pick up. And what scares me, I talk to Space Shot, I talk to Red Pill, I talk to, a lot of these guys, people on Twitter, and I'm just like me and Red Pill 78 are very close friends, and there's every day is the uncertainty of, are they going to take our livelihood? They've already taken a vast amount of it. They took a lot of it away from us. I mean, and you wake up every day. It's like a blessing and a curse. You wake up every day thinking, you check your email to say that this channel's been terminated, and then it's over. Then what do? I have bills. I have a car. I have a child. Well, I would have to just move back home. Damn. Like and then you have to start from the dirt up. It's not. That's why Trump has got to take control of the mainstream media. He's got to enact this Section 230. He's got to make them liable to be sued, or these channels will not exist. And they know, and just as we started with this podcast talking about General Flynn, him reciting "Where we go, one we go all," is complete validation that all this is real, that the president is talking directly to us on the boards, that QAnon, all of it is validated. So why put us through this struggle if we're the ones pushing the word out? Some of these channels, X22 is about to hit 1 million subscribers. The vast amount of networking he's done, that is insane. And the fact that they just kind of leave us hanging in the balance pisses me off. I'm going to say it. It really does not. I don't like it. It's too stressful. It takes away, I guess it's here to make us stronger. I don't know. But all I know is that it's wearing thin on just me as a person. Sometimes I just want to hang it up. I'm not even joking. I think about that literally every day.
Boxing.
Yeah.
I need to do something.
They say no pain, no gain.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one.
Yeah.
Gotta go through something to get to something.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And if God made it easy for us, the lazy will become.
Right.
I don't know, man. I feel like I've been through hell for 2 years.
Well, guess what? Stay in the game, bro.
That's right,
People
Caleb.
need
That's
you,
right.
Thomas.
Well, this is the first time I've come into contact with you, Thomas. So I shall certainly start following you from the
We just can't give up.
Right.
No, you can't give up, you know, and it crosses my mind, but I'm just kind of like, I mean, that's just quitting. I'm not a quitter, but it's just, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you and say that doesn't cross my mind every day.
I mean, it's like once you hear the truth and get the facts, you're not the same person no more.
Correct.
No.
And it's like you can't go back now after knowing all of this.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go back to a 9 to 5. That would be the most depressing thing of my life ever. I couldn't handle it. There's a purpose.
Like for me, go ahead.
I was just going to say there's a purpose for each and every one of us in this chat. That's what it is.
For me, I noticed that I've just embarked on this journey, and I'm seeing my numbers rise every day on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I mean, they're just rising every day, and they're picking up speed. And I know that I'm saying some very controversial stuff, and I know that I've already had 3 YouTube videos censored. So I know that they're looking at me now, but I don't know how far this is going to go. I mean, I see myself getting, in the next year, this should be enormous, but I don't know when they'll censor me. So I always have that in the back of my mind. Like, yeah, I'm growing, but they can stop it and pull the plug at any time. So, to me, it's like, just kind of enjoy the ride the wave.
That's it right there. That's it right there. Enjoy the ride. Do not stop.
Yeah.
Even though you feel like something is about to take place, keep on going. Do not stop.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I kind of also think like this, Thomas, you got to just, it's like, it seriously is like surfing. You catch a really good wave in life, ride it out, man. Ride it all the way till it crashes. And if it crashes, guess what? You paddle back out there and catch another wave. And it might not be as awesome, but it might be even more awesome. So that's the way I see it. And that's what I'm doing with it.
Our duty, every single one
You know
of
what?
us
I like the way all of y'all talking. Continue.
Yeah, our duty is to literally shine the light that's been shining in our sides to other people, to let them know what we know. Because a lot of people don't have the skill sets that we have. They just sit in front of a telly. Because somebody said to me the other day, how do you know all this stuff, Charlie? I said, well, first of all, I work behind the scenes. But number 2, I've done over 1,000 hours of research in the last 14 weeks.
So I tell people I could have a PhD in this.
Exactly.
Did you know they banned my coronavirus song on?
I love it. I played it at a party the other night, mate.
Oh, did you?
I played it at a party the other night, and everybody fell about laughing.
You have to hear it.
Yeah, they banned it.
It's coronavirus. It's man-made. That's the title.
That's how the government get paid.
Yeah, they banned it on Facebook.
Did they?
Every time I post it, they.
They're mad, aren't they?
Ridiculous.
That's funny.
That means you're doing something right.
I know.
Well, I think about it, David. I've got a friend called Jodie Morris, who used to talk to you quite a bit, apparently. She's now Jodie Moore. She's a photographer of models.
Oh.
But she said, when you see David, tell him to get back in contact. I keep sending him messages. He ignores me. I said, well, maybe he's in love. I don't know.
Oh, my God.
Jodie sends her love. But
is she on Facebook or is she on YouTube? What channel is she on?
She's on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. Well, tell her, yeah, that's okay. That's crazy.
I'll link it up anyway.
Okay, yeah, link me up.
That's from the past.
Yeah.
I would really like to talk to the King again because I got some questions because I got a lot of DMs. And listen, I think I believe the King, to be honest with you. I think that's where I feel pulled to believe him more so. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But I'm hearing that his family says he's suffering from psychosis.
Yeah, probably. But I've got 2 pieces of news for you. One's red hot news and the other one's to do with the King, where they're both to do with him. When Thomas spoke earlier about the spiritual side, that's very important. And most of the spiritual side have agreed with him, but they made a very important point. He is not the solution, but he is part of the solution, whatever that means. Now the other piece of
King, what are you talking about? Charles?
Joseph Gregory Hallett, who.
See, this is a thing that I don't know anything about.
Okay.
But I've been
we have to
told
let him
this.
in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charlie, can you brief him a little bit?
Very quickly, Thomas. One of my very, very good friends, Jack Kidd, I've known him for a long time. He just asked me to investigate this Gregory Hallett. And we went down the passageway of trying to find out about who he was. And he claimed to be the new King John III of England. That's what he claimed. So for me being bored, locked up, it gave me another angle instead of the rabbit holes I've been looking down to do with adrenochrome and all that stuff. This was a bit of fun. So I thought, yeah, this will be fun to do. So we started researching, and then one of my other friends who's a television producer and director said, I like that story. I want to do a documentary. I want to go and dig for it. So fine. So the truth is that 14 weeks ago, I had 37 subscribers. I've now got 65,000 in 14 weeks. And that's a big part. That's a big part of
killing it.
At the moment, yeah, we've got some traction.
Mm-hmm.
For a 60-year-old fat boy, that's not bad. We're having some fun. So we're doing some research. But on the spiritual side, my guy that does all my social media, his mum is Maori, New Zealand Maori. They're very spiritual people. And they went to see him the other day. And I said to her, come on, girl, you just tell me if he's real or not. Because women have this sixth sense. And if they're Maori women, they have a sixth and seventh sense. So when she was spent the whole day with him, she came out and she said, Charlie is 100% real and 100% true. And from a Maori woman, I can't argue. That's the spiritual side. That's not the logical side. That's the spiritual side. But we're still doing research. And for me, this is what you need to have, Thomas. You need to have a little sideshow that you can go down another little hole. That's a bit of fun. It's not too serious. It's a bit of fun. I'm sat on the fence going, it might be true, it might not. It will make no difference to me. It's given me a load of subscribers, yes. But I won't be a prince anymore. I'll still be Charlie at the end of it.
So this man, King Hallett, is supposed to be higher than the Queen, correct?
Well, most people certainly in the US and the UK know that the Queen is not the real bloodline. She was German. Prince Philip was Greek. They changed her name from Saxon-Coburg to the House of Windsor. And there's not a monogamous generation for 300 years. They're not the most faithful family in the world. Mm-hmm. Shagging is part of their job.
Sure.
So most people knew that. But the big news that I was going to point out was that obviously most people in the world know that Buckingham Palace is currently empty. And it's all boarded up. But I found out yesterday that there is a huge team of police officers, forensics in there, and they reckon that it could take up to 10 years to go through the whole building before they.
Oh my gosh!
Nobody's in that.
Nobody's
castle.
in that building, and the Queen's Guard aren't even guarding it. They've just got Gurkhas and Royal Air Force guarding it at the moment, and police.
So I heard that Buckingham Palace had tunnels.
Loads of tunnels.
Rooms, and they were high in pedophilia.
Yeah, massive in pedophilia.
So where is the Queen?
We saw the kid crawling out of the window, and then he fell to his death. The little naked boy.
That's right.
Sure.
There's a video on the internet of a boy climbing out of a window there. The Queen's are currently at Windsor, I believe, but she has so many residences anyway. But this would be a wonderful karma if it turns out that they are all wrong, because there's enough properties in the UK that she owns that could house the homeless and plenty more.
How old's the Queen?
She's in her 90s.
Wow.
So the adrenochrome has probably been keeping her alive.
But certainly we.
Who knows if she's even here? That's so you're saying that there's a possibility that you're saying that this place is boarded up, probably under the guise of COVID.
Yeah, under the guise of COVID, and they're redecorating. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're redecorating. Yeah, we're dusting for fingerprints.
Yeah.
And we're digging up the tunnels underneath this place. We're hanging up some new drapes. Sure, that's what you're doing. Yeah.
Carrying furniture out or something.
Out of Windsor Castle, there's been a lot of furniture going out, but nobody quite works out whether she's moving out of there or not. Don't know. We don't know, but yeah,
That's wild.
I've got certain friends who work behind the scenes in the UK, and they're getting a bit grumpy with me at the moment.
I don't really pay attention to what takes place over there. I wish I had the time.
Yeah,
because that's this goes all the way to the Vatican, doesn't it?
The Vatican's empty.
I heard they took down the Pope.
The Pope went about 10 weeks ago because my boys are looking after him. He's in his summer house, and he's on license.
Do you remember when he was a hologram on Easter?
Yes, that was so weird.
And there's been 350 bishops or what have you taken out of the Vatican, been arrested and taken away. And they've emptied it of gold and cash and documents.
So is Trump ahead of now? Trump was in charge of taking them down, correct?
Yeah, totally.
So Trump took down the royal family, the Vatican.
Yeah. And
he's in charge of all of that right now?
Well, that's the three corners of the Illuminati. Federal Reserve, the English royal family, and the Vatican. And he's destroyed the realm.
I didn't know that.
I thought the three corners were Soros, Saudi Arabia, and something else. I might have been wrong. I don't know. That's just that's read.
Soros,
but I mean, either way, they're all massive.
Soros is the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds' bitch. So he's linked to the Fed. Saudi Arabia, I don't know what part they've played, because they've started to play a bigger part, because they're starting to realize that they need to pull their socks up and clean their.
I think that's more. It's more of a. I think your three corners is more of on a massive scale. I think the Saudi Arabia, the Rothschilds is on maybe a smaller scale.
So we're just
what the
talking
corruption's
about,
going on.
I guess we're just talking about the human level here, because I think this goes way beyond that. So
yeah.
What about the Black Pope? Do we know anything about that?
Yeah, that's a very interesting point too, because I know that from what they've said, they've taken everybody out of the Vatican. So because that's being stripped at the moment. They took 650 plane loads, China, Russia, India, and American Air Force planes, 650 planes to take all the gold, the cash, and the documents from the Vatican to the States. That gives you an idea of how much stuff was in there.
So, Charles, you're saying to me that the three corners of the Illuminati were the Federal Reserve, the Vatican, and the royal family?
Correct.
And they've all been taken down? Because I know that Trump already, he absorbed the Federal Reserve, correct, into the Treasury?
So he could get control of it.
So why put this illusion out there that Biden's running and we're going to, it's going to be Kanye's, and now Kanye threw his hat into the ring? Why even go through that? Why even go through that? Like,
we were told right from the very, very start that there would be a lot of smoke screens, because when you're taking down something that's 1,000 years old, it's an incredibly dangerous thing to do. So it's all about smoke and mirrors, deception, the whole lot. And we're
literally freeing ourselves from humanity. That's what you're saying. We are, from these entities that have been controlling us. Because I personally believe that it's these entities, reptilians, the royal bloodline, these if you want to call them demons or dimensional beings that cross through the dimensions, that control humanity and use our energy and our souls for food. The human side of this is the Federal Reserve, the Vatican, and the royal family, and they have been taken down now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and here's another thing that me and my buddy were talking about as well, is that when you started off with like pharaohs, then you came into kings and queens, and it kind of gradually moved into, for America, you have a president, and then you have a first lady. But in reality, they are the king and they're the queen. We just changed the name of what things were. Mm-hmm. Because in a lot of honesty, from what I've researched and whatever, it's either Trump is it, it ends with him, or there's going to be a dynasty that you would see of a pharaoh or of a king that would be a Trump family dynasty. And that's the way that it would pan out. This is like the last family before humanity is freeze. I don't know. That's just what I've looked into.
Oh, we're coming into the new phase of our lives, the Great Awakening. We're coming to a wonderful place. That's not to say we've got rid of all evil, but we've wrestled back control.
Like the golden age.
Yeah.
I feel the same thing.
I've never felt more peaceful in my life, ever.
That is amazing.
That's.
So I guess we shouldn't really worry about what's coming. I mean, it's all going to play out the way it should. It's already been written, like Thomas said.
That's why Trump says the best is yet to come.
Exactly.
That's why Trump's batting 1,000. He's never been wrong. So when he says these things, hey, why don't we go look into hydrochloroquine? We're like, what are you talking about? This is a malaria drug that's been around for 50 years. Where did you just pull that out of your ass? Like, where did you get this from? Because he knows all of this stuff.
He knows everything.
He already knows everything. He's been told brief.
Wow.
The hand of God is on this man. And, I voted for Obama twice. I was going to vote for Bernie. Then I was red pilled. And then I was just like, everything, it was like a blanket of relief, like a knowingly calm feeling that came over me. And I was just like, all of this that I'm shown is fake. And everything that I'm reading is factual. And all of the majority of it has come to fruition. Except for if we want to, like ETs and all this kind of stuff. And who knows, that could be coming extremely quick too.
Yeah. Sooner
than later, I will say that.
I was told right from the very start that the final phase of this would be an alien invasion. I was talking to
by hologram.
Yeah.
Hologram technology, right?
I don't know how, but I was talking to somebody the other day, and somebody said, I've actually who was a fitness trainer, which you'd understand. And he said, I've actually worked with aliens. He said, because their strength is way above what human strength has ever been. He said, there's no way they're human. Their strength is way above it. Because somebody said it in one of my interviews the other day, some of the aliens are living amongst us already.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my friend...
Tell them they said I'm flattered.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I'm not an alien, but I'm flattered.
Good man.
I don't know. That's because it's another thing. It's like there's no coincidences with anything that's said. Because when Donald Trump Jr. had the interview with Trump, the main thing that they pushed, even with the trailer of the interview, was, Dad, are aliens real? And will you expose Roswell and bring forth the truth? And he made like a smirk, almost like, come on, son. Like, you know it. We all know it. And of course I would do that. And I don't know what his paraphrasing was. He says it's very interesting. And that is basically the tip of the cap to say, hey, I want to bring this forward. I think, in all honesty, I think they're here. I think that they're benevolent. I think they're good. And this whole thing that you can't talk about on my show because everyone says they're demons. It's just blinders. They're a racehorse. They put the blinders on and they don't want to hear anything that, even if we talked about a deep state, if you talked about a deep state 10 years ago, you lost a lot of friends and family. But hey, that's completely real now. And that's an everyday term that we see every day, whether it's in a New York Times or whether it's on OAN. It's used, it's a common knowledge term now. So I think that what's to come is going to floor people, and it's inevitable. And I'm willing to embrace that all day long than deal with the thought of actually death. That the whole Project Bluebeam or whatever you want to say, I don't even think that's going to occur. I think it's going to be the real deal. And I think that they're going to come here, and I think that the media is going to say that these things are of a violent nature. And I've also heard this, Charles, and I'm going to leave it alone and let everybody else talk. I've also heard that we're quarantined from them because we're so low density on 3D, because we live in a 3D plane, that they are actually so good and they're so advanced that them actually coming here is actually detrimental to them. It's actually that's the thing that I've read and researched on. I don't know how true that is. It could just be hearsay, but it's very interesting to me.
Like we're polluted water. Like basically when they come into this density, it messes up their vibration.
Sure, we're almost like a disease to them. Like we're just not good for them.
Right, I've heard that same thing, and yeah, I think it depends. You know, I believe that the alien question is going to come to fruition really soon. It just depends who's in charge. Is it going to be Trump or someone else? Well, obviously Charles says Trump. It's done. It's a sealed deal. So I'm going with that. I feel that resonating with me. And I think the alien question will be answered in the next, I would say 5 years, 5 to 8 years. That's where I feel it would be answered.
Hugh's already told us.
Out into the light.
Yeah, I mean, he's already hinted. You're right.
Hugh's already said. We said, do aliens exist? And he says, no, it was, are we alone? And he said, no, think of the nearest star.
Yeah. Who said that?
QAnon.
Okay.
Yeah, Q told us. So, I mean, QAnon's batting 1,000 as well from stuff that's coming out now. Who knew that it was going to be the Southern District of New York where all this took place?
Yeah.
You know? And now we're supposed to be looking into Robert Maxwell, which is Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who's Mossad, worked with Saudi Arabia, which brings, like I was saying before, brings Saudi Arabia back into the picture.
Correct.
And her two sisters are secret agents, are they not?
I don't know about this. I didn't even know she had sisters, but this even brings into something else that people are talking about, is this picture with her and JonBenet Ramsey. That's brought back into, you're bringing up stuff from the early 90s. It's brought back in where you see Ghislaine Maxwell's face, and then it's JonBenet Ramsey and her, Yankee Doodle, dressed up, Star Spangled Banner outfit that was so iconic. And then you see Ghislaine like right there.
Get out of here.
Swear.
That's crazy, dude.
Mm-hmm. So and they say that she's talking. I've heard on the boards that she's surrounded by military police there. And I saw Breaking 911 posted on Twitter today that she was going to be put in the same cell or the same holding cell or whatever as Epstein.
That's right.
I mean, that's a setup. They want to hush her up. But I've heard that she's, instead of being surrounded by paid off cops where the cameras don't work, and that they're actually MPs set up by federal agents to keep her alive, to keep her talking, because she said, and it's everywhere on the mainstream. It's on the left, it's on the right, and they're saying that she's going to rat people out.
She's going to seem like
that's going to happen? You think that's going to go easy with a former president? You think that's going to go easy with CEOs and Hollywood?
Well, that's why I said the false flags. That's exactly why I said this is getting ready to get fucking crazy, because it is. Because, dude, when you're getting ready to take down powerful people, they still got pull. I don't care how many of their friends you've taken down. They still got pull. They'll do some desperate stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I don't know. I
How
don't know.
long she got away with it, and now all of a sudden they fired the judge, Jeffrey Berman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was standing in the way.
Yeah, exactly.
He was in the way. Southern District of New York's wide open
Living in
now.
his district. She's living in the district, right?
Yeah.
12 days later. 12 days later, after his firing by Attorney General William Barr, 12 days later, this woman gets arrested. What else is in the Southern District of New York?
Timing's
Anthony
perfect.
Weiner's laptop. Free it up. Free it up. Who knows what's on that thing? Yeah. And you say that, the crooked FBI took it. You don't think the Southern District of New York took probably a solid state, an external hard drive, downloaded everything on that hard drive so they can keep it? That's with the white hats. Yeah. Why would they just be like, here you go, crooked FBI. Here's all the documents. We trust you. No, we don't. That's on another external hard drive. All that information is going to be coming out. So you have two massive hits of Ghislaine Maxwell, and now you have Anthony Weiner's laptop. This will expose the Clinton Foundation. It will expose Haiti. It will expose every single person, and there's nothing that can stop what's coming. The dam is broken.
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
It's over. Now all it is an informational flow of truth, and how people are going to handle it, that is what's to pan out. That's to be questioned, because that's where David was saying, well, are there going to be civil wars? There's going to be pandemonium when you see that President Obama and Bill Clinton, and you have George W. Bush, all of this stuff starts to come out. I'll tell you one thing, my parents will not be able to handle this as boomers. they're in their 70s, they will not handle this at all.
No.
Because we trusted these people all our lives. We thought they were, you know.
I've understood that we'll only ever learn 20% of the truth. 100% of the truth.
I'm not okay with that.
It's called being brainwashed.
It is.
I'm not okay with 20%. I want full disclosure on everything, because if you do stuff behind the scenes, that's lying.
Yeah,
you do it to our face.
You and I can handle it. But the people who haven't been woken up yet, it will kill them.
Yeah, but this is necessary. This is going to have to happen if we're going to move forward. If we're going to move forward in our spiritual development and move forward in the Great Awakening, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow, because guess what? Everyone is going to go straight, like Thomas, everyone's going to go straight to the black pill. It's going to be so ugly when people find out the crimes against humanity and what these people have been doing to children and using people as commodities and products for their entertainment, for their souls, for their blood, their adrenochrome, organ harvesting, sexual pedophilia. I mean, to know that this is that we've been basically, we're just part of the food chain of cattle. We're like cattle, and that they've been using us, and we're actually, for the first time, breaking free from this enslavement. It is, and that people that are not awake, they're gonna lose their shit.
Yeah.
They're not going to believe this. They're going to turn it off, because that's what weak-minded people do.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you think they're going to tell us? Because the media is going down. It's not.
It has to be self-disclosure.
Yeah, people that's probably why people like us. We're bringing this information to them prematurely.
And also those that have already been executed, they have a written statement from them, and they have a video statement from them.
Correct.
That.
Wow.
Yes, I've heard that as well.
And they had a choice how they wanted to be executed.
Correct.
They said Mike took the lethal injection.
Correct.
Big Mike.
Who took the lethal injection?
Michelle Obama.
Oh my gosh! So
They
she's
had a
gone
choice.
through. So then, are they saying that the people walking around as clones?
Yeah.
You said the Barack took a shot, bullet in the head or something like that.
Yes.
I heard
Yes.
that.
Man, and you know their souls are not going to a good place. That would scare me more than anything. You know, if I was in their shoes, you know, dude, could you imagine? Like, you realize.
I know. I think what he was going to say. Yeah. Do you realize like what they're about to go through? I don't think they care. I don't think they care. I think they're so entitled, and they're so dead inside that they don't even care.
I agree with that.
Oh,
And this is just all of them. That's why I question, are they even human?
Yeah.
Just like David says, they're willing to do this. Like, listen, what they're talking about, this soft disclosure. Hey, Ghislaine Maxwell, she's trafficking, 14 and 16-year-old women. Yeah. That's soft disclosure. What are they doing with the babies? What are they doing with all this kind of stuff, $65,000 worth of hot dogs? You tell me. I've seen the ping pong. I'm not going to say the whole word, but that pizza parlor. I've seen James Alefonsis. I've seen their Instagrams. I know what they're doing.
Sure.
I'm not stupid. Don't tell me they're 16 years old. They're not just that.
Yeah.
Is it true they injecting chips in them so they can hear everything they're talking about?
I haven't heard that.
I haven't heard
But
that.
all I know is I saw a video, and you can tell it's John Podesta's voice. If you listen to him giving speeches, I will never be the same. I have to tell you, I would never be the same.
Oh, when he's torturing the child?
Yeah.
Watching the child, what's my name? What's my name? The kid is crying, Daddy. Oh my God, it's blood curdling.
You gotta send me that video.
And just the fact
to
he's
be
still
changed
walking
forever.
the streets is so infuriating.
It's only audio. It's only audio.
It's the audio.
Could you imagine?
I saw one that was video, but you just saw like a shower and flashes, like you really just saw shadows.
Could you imagine? And that's all to build up the adrenaline. That's what
right.
that's used for.
That's exactly
He's scaring them
Yes.
to bring up the adrenaline, so they can kill the kid and then drink the adrenaline. I mean, could you imagine? When I was a kid, I was almost kidnapped when I was a child by a guy that was a Mexican guy that was driving a brown van. I remember how terrified I was when he grabbed me and he couldn't pull me in because I had a bicycle. And then when he set me down to readjust to pick me back up again, I threw the bike at him and took off running up the street. And I remember that traumatized me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I can't imagine if that guy would have been successful, how scared as a child I would have been. And it makes me sick to my stomach that these fucking creeps walk this earth and fucking do this to children. I mean, I can't even.
Don't they make sacrifices on Bohemian Grove too?
Yeah, that's the Moloch. That owl.
Yeah. Exactly.
No. Yeah, that's the owl. Yeah, the owl. Yeah.
And they got that owl on a dollar bill that nobody even see. It's
Yeah.
right in-
Yeah, that's so American. A pyramid is so American. Like, what is this money that I carry around? You know, like, and I talk about this in my show too. That this money that we break, we work our hands to the bone, and we put so much energy just for this paper garbage.
Yeah.
Like, makes me sick to my stomach. And all of it, none of it's American. Like, you might have like the building on like the Washington Monument or the whatever, I don't know, whatever's on there, and then you have owls in the corners, and then pyramids with a seeing eye on it.
Yep.
People are like, that's conspiracy. Why don't you just open your eyes? Why don't you kind of just break away and take your blinders off and really just say, why? That's not American. What is there's no pyramids here. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
No, people. What it is people have too much fun that they don't have time to look into things.
No.
Me, I read.
Distracted.
Paragraphs,
Yeah.
You've read a lot, King Charles. Kingcharlie, you've read loads.
Oh, yeah.
The first time I met you, I was just blown away with the knowledge that you have.
I stay reading all the time,
Yeah.
I definitely want to get more into not necessarily this episode or whatever, but I definitely want to get more and more into the spirituality. Like, I'm just looking at literally like everything. I don't believe in philosophy. I don't like philosophy. I think there's a lot of jargon mixed in with it. I really want to get into just reading like just the versions of the Bible, just like New Testament. I want to read what is it? Torah. That there's one that starts with a K too, correct? The
Quran.
What is it?
I got the Talmud.
Quran. I want to read that as well.
As long as it wasn't the Kama Sutra.
Look at that.
I might need to read that too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got to get going because we're going on the boat in the lake.
Yeah, my wife is flying tomorrow, so I've got to
Okay.
go and help her.
Listen, I was hoping we can end the show with the oath, if you guys are okay with that.
Yes, absolutely.
Thomas, would you mind? Can you recite it and we'll repeat after you? Is that okay?
Yeah, I can bring it up quick.
Thank you.
1 second, I gotta get on the board.
This was a great roundtable discussion.
Well, Dave, you probably took your hat.
You're finishing me, right?
I love it. Okay, yeah, we can do it. So this is from June 24th, and it says, I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear
Or affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend
the
the
Constitution
Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all
enemies, foreign and domestic.
that I will bear true faith
That I will bear true
faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same.
that I take this obligation freely
That I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any
mental
reservation
or purpose.
or purpose of evasion.
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
And that I will
and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter.
the duties of the office in
which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Where we go one, we go all.
Where we
go one, we go all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
It's just a
Thank you so
positive
much,
thing. It's
guys.
just it basically means just to speak truth and to stick by your country.
Yeah.
And you giving that over to God, and it seems extremely positive to me.
Yeah,
I feel
love
it is. Yeah.
It's been great seeing all you guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
you. I love this,
Guys.
man.
Great to meet
Yes,
you.
Thank
this
you
was
so much.
amazing. This was an awesome roundtable. I loved it.
It was the
Yeah.
best. We got to do another one. Awesome.
Denise, you'll
Absolutely.
send me the file.
Yeah.
I will. Yes, I will.
Okay.
All
I
right.
love all you
Thank
guys,
you
man.
guys,
You guys
and
are
thank
awesome.
you.
All right, man.
Thank you for
Caleb, King
watching.
Charles, and
Joe.
David, and Denise, thank y'all. Thank
All
you.
of you.
Thomas, you want to tell people how to reach you or how to find your channel?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Charlie,
You
maybe
can.
could do the
It's
same.
just you go on Twitter at TRUreporting, True Reporting, and then on YouTube, True Reporting. We're this close to hitting 200,000 subs. So
Wow.
please, yeah. So please, yeah. Please hit it, and then on Twitter we hit over 50,000. So we're at almost 52,000. So
Brilliant.
you know,
Can't
and the
quit.
suppression's so real, it
Can't
sucks. It should be at 1 million. The channel should be at 1 million. And I think when everyone starts to open up and starts to realize stuff, if I'm not gone, it will get there very quick.
Good man.
Yes.
I believe it will.
True.
David, how do we reach you?
Whenever you,
David?
Oh, at David. Okay, my Twitter is Nino Boxer, Nino Boxer, Nino Boxer. My Instagram it's long, so get ready for this. David Nino Rodriguez Official.
There you go.
Well, if you can, Denise, put all the tags on there underneath there, then I can copy and paste it onto mine as well,
Okay.
so that we can
Yeah.
all
I'll,
get
I'll
out.
get the chance. Try
I'll
to
definitely do
try
that.
to get this.
Oh wow,
What is that?
I like that.
Great
Secrets
American
of
Adventure?
America.
Nice.
Wow.
Cool.
I got to start reading the Quran. I've got to.
Yeah.
I want to.
Or
So
get the or this one here.
blurry. Why are you a national state?
It's kind of blurry. Can't see it.
Yeah, it's just the glare.
Yeah.
Oh wait a minute. Let me take the glare out.
Much better. Why are you a national state national and a constitutional but not statutory citizen? Constitutional citizen, statutory non-citizen national.
Okay.
It's pretty
Interesting.
I did a good interview the other day, Kingcharlie, with John Smith, who did common law, the difference between common law and maritime law, which is England, and the law that you're under right now, which is corrupt, and the one that Trump wants to bring you back to.
The common law.
That's a fascinating video, well worth watching, about the laws. Instead of being a commodity, being a living being, being a human being.
Absolutely.
Right. That's so crazy. That's it. Hey, Denise, put me in. I want to get with Charles Ward, please.
Yes. Definitely.
I
Definitely.
know this
See?
is.
We're all
I know this is
networking
off
here. I
the-
love it.
Right. Denise, I know this is off the subject, but I want everyone to know I just released my new single called You Give Me Joy. Check it out when you get
Oh,
a chance.
definitely.
Put the link in the bottom for us all.
We'll
so
put the link on the bottom. Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Awesome.
guys.
See, God is
All right,
good.
guys.
Cheers.
That's right.
Bye,
nice to
guys.
meet
Hi, it's Justin, and I hope you're enjoying my dad's videos. Make sure to share this video with family and friends, like and subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get notified for all my dad's new videos. My social media will be tagged down below so you can follow it, and just remember, Jesus loves you.